An army rising up. The On Fire Cafe presents Awakenings. Speak the truth. With end times approaching, Christians must rise up as an army of truth. Truth with the power of Jesus, bringing more of a biblical influence back into the world, suppressing the consistently darker influence of the enemy. Battling with the enemy openly, no longer politically correct, speaking truth only for those who agree with us, fighting against the influence of the darkness, no longer accepting the influence in the world. Openly disagreeing with those principles in opposition to what the Bible teaches, no longer tolerating the distortion of biblical principles, speaking out even to those who will not listen, speaking a clear truth and letting God guide our way. The battle for the world. We do not need to defend our position to the unbeliever. Stop defending ourselves to those not interested in truth. Those opinions have no merit when in opposition to what God teaches. Have no fear, for greater is He who is in me than he who is in the world. We are reaching a time when we must choose sides in the battle for the world. No longer silent. We must wage war against the hypocrisy of this world, wage war against sin and against the defense of it. Battle the sin within. Matthew 10:34. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. An army is rising up. We are all sinners and must first fight against the sin within ourselves, fighting against the sinful influences that will tempt us. No more actions with the best of intentions, but against what we know is right. Maintain control. A prime example is social media arguments over politics. I cannot express how many times I have been enraged by things being said about my beliefs, berated about things I know to be right. Some of the opposing opinions get very personal. Comments can excel to a level they should not. Anger begins building. Rage can take hold when I feel as though I am being persecuted. I've seen many Christians lose their temper online. Once things are said in anger, they cannot be erased. We must maintain our self-control in the face of unreasonable abuses. Only tolerance and control will allow the influence of truth. Avoid temptation. We should not allow ourselves to be tempted into sin. Our sin is the goal of the enemy. Make us appear to be what they are trying to say that we are. Scripture as an answer is desired and not opinions. Walk a clear path against the enemy's challenges, fighting the enemy's manipulations. Held to higher standards. This is just one example of fighting the sin within. The world is influenced through what we do. What they see from us dictates what they believe about what we represent. So the actions in this world become our representation of what we stand for as Christians. We must be held to a higher standard. No one is perfect. We are all a work in progress, but we are accountable. It is imperative that we remember that, especially in our dealings with the unbelievers. Standing for what is right, we must influence through our actions, not only through our words. Those actions are under scrutiny by the enemy, and this is a war. We must become an army rising up. The war for souls. Not only is this a war for our own souls in these troubled times, but also for the souls of those we might influence. Battle with our brothers and sisters against the sin within. 2 Corinthians 10, 3-5. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. Stand stronger together. Fighting the sins within ourselves, fighting hand in hand with our brothers and sisters against the sins within them. An army is rising up. We are all responsible for one another, to support, to hold up, and to influence, giving comfort and kindness as we are worn down, standing stronger together than we do apart. Not judging one another or dictating what should be, but supporting one another, to be strong for one where there is weakness in another, sharing our gifts so that together we are stronger against the enemy. Lift the burden. The battle against sin is unending. We are worn down and we tire of it. We must lift the burden from others where we can, remind gently of our purpose, be the help that is needed in those times when it is, stimulating an effective battle against the enemy. Move together for the common goal. We should not be divided amongst ourselves in petty squabbles based in differences of opinion. It does not really matter who is right or who is wrong. What matters is standing together to promote salvation for the world. We must resist the pride and the righteous indignation and move together with a common goal. We are strong together if we cannot be divided. Be an army rising up. Battle against the dark spirit who defends sin. Second Timothy 3, 3-9. Without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. For of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with divers lusts, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Now as Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth, men of corrupt minds, reprobate concerning the faith. But they shall proceed no further, for their folly shall be manifest unto all men, as theirs also was. Battle Sin's defender. An army is rising up. Most importantly, we must battle against the spirit who defends sin, confuses good and evil, and seeks to devour. The evil one hides his agenda through his manipulation, speaking so convincingly in his deceit, and it is repeated time and again until it is believed, preying upon those at their weakest, those in need, telling them what they want to hear to gain their acceptance, but the reality is their ultimate ruin. The master of deceit. The enemy funds his armies, but drains the people to keep them weak, keeping them submissive to his will, providing a glimpse of what could be to give hope, then whisking it away again. Blaming his enemies for his own actions and consequences. It is believed because he is a master of deceit. He is represented through his army, so many, so charismatic. He is a liar. Lies he wants you to accept are spoken openly, diverting you from the truth by changing your focus to things that are unrelated, distracting you so you forget to ask the important questions, moving in secret but lying in the open. planting the seed of fear. So you turn on your brothers and sisters. He wants to keep you apart because together you are stronger. The goal, to keep you fighting each other for the same reason. Divided, you will fall. He stands right in front of you but hides in the shadows. He is in the spiritual darkness and is a whisper of temptation. It would be so much easier to compromise what you know is right and give in to the world views, but to do so would be your devastation. Take up your sword. An army is rising up. We must fight with the full armor of God. Our silence must be over, and we must speak the truth, no matter how inconvenient, shouting the truth from the rooftops to anyone who will listen. Sacrificing comfort in the name of our biblical principles, because the enemy is throwing resistance at us in full force. We must stand firm, no matter how difficult it will become. That is what will be required in our obedience. We must pray for guidance and strength. I call to you to take up the cause and fight for the salvation of the world as time is running out. An army is rising up. John 8:4. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. Speak up with the truth. Well, thanks for stopping by the On Fire Cafe YouTube channel. Be sure and hit subscribe. And I hope we'll see you at our website at www.onfirecafe.net.